Hi there and welcome back to my Tekkit world, and I've been rather busy since the last video. So this is now the bedroom, and as you can see there's a lot more open space and a lot more things going on through there, which I'll come to in a moment. But first of all, some of the decor I've been doing out here. So this was all the inside of the bottom of a hole in the ground, right from when I started. If you remember, in the very first video I walked up to that ridge, looked down into this gap and said, I'm just having a bit of a quick look around to see, oh, I like that bit down there, that could be interesting. Yes, that's filling my mind with possibilities. This is now what I've decorated it to become. So we've still got the animal farm in the middle, and mostly this was done using the mercurial eye and its transmutation mode, so that it was possible. You set up a template in here of what you want something to become, you give it some energy, and as long as the EMC of this, the target is the same, it doesn't use anything, it just converts it to and from whatever item you want it to be. If there's a difference in EMC, you either get it back and it stores it in the Klein star, or it expends it to make the change. So for instance, if I wanted that to be glass, because in there I've got glass set as the target, if I click on it, it will turn it into glass. If I choose a different item, say I want to turn it back into smooth stone, choose that, click on there, and it turns it back. So I've gone a little mad with this, making myself all nice windows, making myself patterns, and it now looks like this. So the idea was to have a theme that looked a little bit sort of wizardy, and I thought the black basalt bricks did the justice for that, with a little bit of trimming and a little bit of netherrack here to give it a bit of colour. I've also now created a second condensing star thing that is busy collecting red matter. So I've got two of them, and both of them are now fully upgraded to all Mark III relays and Mark III collectors, that's the word. Still got the glowstone on the top of there, which it doesn't need anymore because these create their own light, so they're always fully lit. Anyway, I've also added windows around lots of these doorways, so that you can always see if there's mobs on the other side. And that continues all the way down there. And I've now moved this wall back. Instead of this entranceway being a bit more open, I've now moved it back to here and put the door in. The reason is I wanted more room for the factory. Now the factory is now looking pretty much decked out. I've used here, I'll come back to the floor because the floor is a little interesting, hopefully. Mostly I've just built the walls ready to start putting factory things in, and this is my first factory. So there it is at a distance, and I'll just whip over there and explain what's going on. So the first build was this line down here. Now what this does is it's to produce, well, see if you can figure out, see how far down the line I get before you figure out what this line's producing. So the idea is that there's a condensing chest here that takes whatever you dump in it and converts it into chunks of rotten flesh. That's so that they are in nice, reasonably sized chunks of EMC, in 24 EMC in this case. Those get filtered here into two streams, one that goes along the top and one that comes down using the distribution pipe here. So it either goes up there or down there in different amounts. The stuff that comes downwards gets turned into wood. The wood goes along here, and some of it will go into the chest. So a small percentage will go into the chest that gets collected here, and the rest will go into an automatic crafting bench. And the stuff that goes into there gets turned into planks. The planks get pumped out, and some of them go into there to use as a resource. The rest go into there and get turned into sticks. The sticks get pumped out of there, and some of them go into a chest to use when needed. The rest go into there and get turned into gears. At this point, you may realise what's going to end up at the end there, but we'll carry on. So those get pumped out of there, and some of those go into there. You can see the ones from the EMC I just put in the end are beginning to come through. Those go into this automatic crafting bench here, and here they combine with cobblestone. Now, the cobblestone comes from up here, and the cobblestone comes from some percentage of the rotten flesh that comes into here, getting turned into cobblestone, and that comes down there to form the rest of the gears to make stone gears. Stone gears come out of there, some of them go into the chest. Well, got a bit too many stone gears, but yeah, not completely balanced this, but it's sort of there. And they go into here to turn into iron gears, and the iron comes from up here, where some of the rotten flesh gets turned into iron. Now again, the balance isn't quite right here. I haven't got enough of it that's coming along this way compared to what comes down the bottom, so I have to do a little bit of fudging adding extra EMC into these chests along this bit, and you'll see why later. So the next bit is stone cogs come out of there and they go into there to become iron cogs, some of them go into there to get collected, the rest go into here to get gold added to them to become gold gears, and then gold gears come out of there, some of them go into a chest, got plenty of them, and the rest go into here to get combined with diamonds to eventually make diamond gears. And I'm hoping there at the end of all this I've got enough diamond gears to last me through to whatever I need to build. So effectively this part of the factory is now redundant. I've just demonstrated it there for the purposes of explaining what it was to make. But I've now got enough diamond gears, gold gears, iron gears, stone gears, and maybe not wooden gears. I may need to keep this bit to make a few more wooden gears to last for most of the things I want to build. And then the second thing that I've done, these are my just work chests, just keeping things in that I'm keeping around for building things in the factory. So the next bit, this bit was the next thing I built, and see if you can figure out what this is to build as quickly as you can. So the first thing is, again, similarly, there's a chest that you dump things into to add EMC. Just dump some in there. In this case, it's producing torches. The torches go along here and get split three ways. Three ways? Yeah, three ways, most of which go to white and blue. So that's white upwards and blue across here. The white goes up there to produce rubber wood, and the blue goes across there to produce copper. And again, the balancing isn't quite right here in terms of percentage that goes each way, so I had to fudge a bit. And the light blue goes this way to produce glass, and the glass goes up here, gets split. Most of it was going off that way, but that was getting well out of balance, so I've actually made it so most of it was going over this way and getting stored in there. And then the next bit, the rubber wood comes out of here, goes through an advanced insertion pipe, I think that one is, into an extractor. Now if you put the rubber wood into an extractor, you get out rubber. I've overclocked this one, but it needed to go quicker to keep up with the production of copper that was going that way. And that comes out of there as rubber and goes through here. Now the power for this is coming from some solar cells that are on the roof. Yeah, that flickering I'll come back to in a moment. But some of the energy is also coming from this generator here, so it keeps going through the night if necessary. That comes through here into an automatic crafting table, gets combined with copper to make copper cables. Copper cables go through here, some of them get stored, so I've got plenty of copper cables to last me a while, and the rest go into a bench there. Now before I show you what that bench is, don't have a look at the sign, you didn't see the sign, there's some that comes from over here. That one is tin, which gets condensed from whatever you put in there, which gets crafted into ultra low current cables, which eventually gets combined to produce luminators. Now the idea was I was going to use luminators instead of glowstone all round here. I was going to have it everywhere with the cabling under the floor. So I've made loads of them in anticipation, but I'm getting this. Yeah, that's the only panel I've got up there at the moment that's connected to the back box directly, and whenever the back box is getting power through the solar cells, it flickers, and at night it goes off. Even though it's connected to the back box, it's not drawing any power and it's not producing any light, and I don't understand why. And I don't like these things, so I've made loads of them and I'm not going to be using them. So I think I'm going to go back to using normal lamps and doing it that way. But what I have done is, in order to put these in with the wiring, all of this is a false floor. So it is only that thick. So yep, a nice thin floor with lots of space underneath that was in anticipation of doing all the wiring needed to put everything in. And this combined with the corridor, which did come from the house up here. So previously where the bed was, I had this little work area to work on metals and smelt them and things, which had a long corridor down there. If you remember the video bringing the cows back, the cows came back along... Sorry. The cow came back along that corridor. Only one of them made it, of course. And now it's the main entrance into the underfloor area for any work that was needed. And you can see I've got a blue electricity battery box created over there that's not actually connected to anything. I've done a few experiments with connecting things up. I've also got these ladders here which go behind each of the factory wall areas. So each factory wall behind it has an access panel, so you can get along to put in any redstone that's needed and things like that, and you can go up to different floors to go along and put things in. Now just behind that one is where the cable comes down to, that's a little access panel. So I'll just knock that off to show you. Look, there's the power that comes in through there, and I'll just put that panel back in there. yeah, just neatness, that is. And again, there's another bit of wall here that's ready to go off and build things onto. This area behind here I have in mind becoming the energy room, the bits that takes the energy, eventually hopefully high voltage energy from high voltage solar cells up on the roof, brings them down and converts it to different types of electricity, power, whatever you call it. And I've got this wall set up ready to use. Now the other thing I've spent a lot of time doing, if you notice the experience level I've got down at the bottom now is currently 31. I've enchanted a lot of other tools and armor and things, and the way I've done that is I was mining over this way and I discovered another mob spawner which is a lot closer to the main base. And I came up this way, I was hollowing up this way, started hearing zombies, and this wasn't all glass of course. Found this mob spawner and I've now tamed it. So I'll show you what this does. It's the standard format mob spawner trap grinder thing. So I can get this close to the mob spawner, so I'm within the distance needed for mobs to spawn. And they fall down here. I've got a much neater arrangement now of the water with signs doing a suspended floor so they can all fall without taking any damage, and they fall almost straight away into the middle and drop down. There's a nice short route away from there, and then a very efficient single column elevator up here, all of which I've done in glass so you can follow the mobs all the way up. And then straight across with a nice short run, this time terminated with a sign, to a drop of 23 blocks I think it is, and then they take just a couple of hits to kill. So this is now nice and efficient. Now the annoying thing is it's just too far away. It would be great if I could stand here and kill them, but I'm one block too far away from the mob spawner for them to spawn. You see there, it just they did spawn. It's okay, it's close. It's a lot safer if I stand here and kill them. I'll kill them in the store, just make it quick. But then you'll see, annoyingly, the zombie flesh isn't quite close enough to pick up, so I have to keep going backwards and forwards rather than just killing them. But it's relatively efficient. You can stand there and collect a lot of XP in relatively short time. And because that's a lot closer to the base, instead of having to go down a long way to the other mob spawner, which is off over that way somewhere, I've now been able to collect a lot of XP. And the other thing, I've now got a lot more red matter collected. It's busy accumulating. I've had a lot more than that, but I've used it in order to create the second energy flower out there. So that's pretty much it for the tour of where things are at the moment. I have a long list of factory build bits that I want to do. I want to get a bit building iridium plate. I want to get a bit producing glass fibre cables, biofuel cells, construction foam, interdiction torches. I've done diamond gears. I've got a list here in case you're wondering what I'm looking at. An MV transformer, an MFE, energy crystals, generators, solar powers, BT batteries, red doped wafers, etc., etc. I want to create production lines for all of those things. And one of the other things I need to do is move this. It's in the way. And also I saw a video which pointed out that maybe not in this version of Minecraft, but certainly the later versions, and if Tekkit updates the later version this will be an issue, but things from the nether can come through a portal. And if that were to happen with a ghast in the middle of a factory with everything carefully set up, I would not be happy. Imagine losing all of this mess and having to rebuild it. That would not be good. So anyway, the plan is that I'm going to move that nether portal somewhere else. So at the moment I've gone through to the nether and created a waypoint as to where the portal is at the moment and a few other bits. I've added some cobble reinforcing to various areas just in case anything takes damage, and at some point fairly soon this is going to get dismantled and moved a little outside of the base. I'm not exactly sure where yet. The other thing I want to do, and this will probably be the next video in Tekkit, is there are a few things which I haven't managed to collect yet. Oh, look, it's on permanently now. But there's no light behind it. Yeah, if anybody can explain to me how these luminators are supposed to work and what I'm doing wrong here, that would be great. but now I've got hundreds of them. It would be good to use them, but I'm not quite sure if I ever will. Anyway, yes, I've got a mission to go on, and the mission is to get ink sacs. I haven't collected any of those yet. Cactus greens, which are going to be necessary for the waterproof pipes and things I need to do. Cocoa beans, not really got a use for them except maybe for coloured wires and things. Indigo flowers for the same purpose, and melon seeds, just because I realise I don't think I've got any melons on the go at the moment. And the other thing I want to do is I want to breed some crops and get some sticky resin plants, and then somehow see if I can set that up to have an automatic factory farm of those to get rubber from those, rather than having to do the condensing rubber wood things that I've done over in the factory bit over here. Okay, so that's about it for now. This isn't the best way to do things in a factory. That's one of the things I've realised in doing this, is this dedicated run of building things has limited usefulness. And instead, what I think I ought to do is set up an area for maceration, an area for extraction, an area for condensing, and then route different things through different areas of the factory processing-wise, using sorting filters and pipes and things. But at the moment, I've gone down this route, and I think I'll stick to it. Oh, and the other thing I've done is I've mocked out very roughly on the ceiling where I think the opening of the doors need to be. So I think roughly, if that's the middle of the door going along about there and about that wide, if that were to open so that that point there becomes that point there, then that would open half this side, and then the same this side, that point there moved to there. It would mean that I'd have from there all the way over to there open to the sky. And I've checked that there's enough room that side to fit any mechanical things in, and there's enough room up there above the ceiling to fit things in for the ceiling to move off that way. Other than that, I think that's about it for this episode. That's a catch up on the vast majority of things that have been done. There's a lot of other little things. I've added a gate here because I found mobs kept creeping up that way. I've added a door there just in case that was where they came in, and lots of other doors and lighting, so many extra torches to try to avoid mobs getting in, and I've just about managed it. Most of the time now you can be 90% sure, 99% sure, if I leave things away from the keyboard for a long time, that no mobs are going to turn up. And yeah, there we go. One of the other things I think I've decided I want to put in is I'm going to put a glass ceiling in over this bit. So some point round about at that height, I'm going to make a glass ceiling to cover it all in, so that all of this becomes indoors rather than outdoors. I've got fed up of coming out here in the rain. Oh, and I've thought of another thing. This underground storage area, I've been doing a little bit of decor in. So I've established that they'll be colour coded, so this area will be indicated by this type of stone, this area of over here by netherrack, this over here by marble, and a bit at the back by sandstone. Just I came around here doing a little bit of work, looking at things. I've put all these on the ceiling. This is a thin veneer over the ceiling for to cover up. That's the wrong type of block. Yeah, hang on, I can't leave it like that. Got to put it back. There we go. Because when I'd done the decor upstairs, some of it was, because this was only one block below the surface, you'd get patterns of red and black and all sorts of things, and it looked awful. So I've just hidden all that away with the smooth stone cover blocks to add a false ceiling there. I've also done a little bit of decor here. Quite like these bits as if they're in a frame. Thought that looked quite nice. I've still not put that last chest in there, and I've still not found any way of categorising the things to go in there. So again, any other suggestions as to what to put in those areas, especially when I've got the factory that's busy storing all the things. But yeah, there we go. That's it for now, I think. Just do a quick tour over this side. Yep, this is what the base looks like from the outside. The only real difference since the last tour is it's now got the solar cells, both the Bluetricity ones and the other ones, which I can't remember what they're called. And there is also an entrance into the base here through the trapdoor, just when I need to go up to check the status of things. That's it. And I'll see you later, I guess. Any comments and suggestions welcome, though. Let me know what you think of this factory. Bye for now.